Brightmetrics is a full-featured reporting and data analytics service for the ShoreTel voice-over IP system. If you need to manage your customer experience when you touch customers on the phone, or if you need to manage productivity for employees whose job it is to be on the phone, either taking calls or making them, Brightmetrics is the tool for you. This video is a quick overview of just some of the features the service offers. The first area we'll take a look at is our dashboard area. It offers a view of any information in the ShoreTel system, from work groups to hunt groups, individual or groups of users, configuration, and system information. To save time, we'll look at one dashboard built from a template for a particular work group. Keep in mind that everything here is completely customizable. How the dashboard lays out, the information contained on each chart, and the number of charts on the dashboard. In addition, there are very granular permission levels for sharing dashboards and reports within your organization. The charts are interactive and allow you to mouse over data points to see what's going on at any given time. In addition, when viewing time series charts, the viewed time is highlighted on any other time series charts on the dashboard to make it easy to correlate events. You can isolate any item on a chart simply by clicking on it in the legend. Brightmetrics offers a very powerful dashboarding engine, but where we're completely unique in this space is in our ability to provide extensive data analytics around the ShoreTel system. Notice that every chart has a magnifying glass in the upper right-hand corner. Clicking on that will bring up the drill down area. If you've used Excel pivot tables before, this will be similar to that, but easier for you to use. In this example, we'll select a time frame. Let's look at last month. From here, we can slice and dice this data to gain insights as to the customer experience, employee productivity, or system configuration. We can see that for this group, there were 23 abandoned calls last month, and the average wait time for these abandoned calls was 53 seconds. These are calls that came into the queue but were disconnected before being answered. If we want to minimize abandoned calls, we could look at patterns here to find where we could most effectively add staff to accomplish our goals. For example, to see which hours of the day are most likely to have abandoned calls, we simply drag hours onto the report, and the calls will be subcategorized by hour of the day on the fly. Here you can see that early in the morning and around lunchtime are the most likely times for calls to be abandoned in this group over the last month. Alternatively, we could take hours off and drag weekday on, and we see that nearly half of our abandoned calls were on Mondays. Dragging our slider to expand our time range tells us that over a longer period of time, Mondays are definitely the most common day to have abandoned calls in this group. If I wanted to reduce the number of abandoned calls here, I could add an additional agent on Mondays and it would help significantly. If instead of abandoned calls, I want to look at employee productivity, I could focus on calls that were transferred to an agent. To make this easier to see, I'm going to limit this selection to these calls. Now I'm going to drag abandoned calls off of the selection and add on some agent productivity metrics. Let's look at the percent of calls the agents take out of the queue and then transfer, as well as the average time it takes them to handle a call. The first thing to notice here is that there are many different things that you could be looking at depending on your needs. The second is that this analytics is being performed on the fly. Anything you drag on or off is updating the report as you do it. Now you can sort on any column simply by clicking the header of that column. I can see that this agent transfers about 1.5% more calls than the overall average of the group and has the lowest handled time. This might be telling me that if the agent stuck with the call a little longer, he might be able to solve more issues rather than have to move them to someone else for a solution. If we want the detail behind any data that we've uncovered, we can simply click on the data point to get it. In this case, clicking on the agent's name will give us detail behind all 360 of the calls that he took out of the queue last month. From here, I can sort on any column again by clicking on the header. If I sort here on the Count Transfers column, I see the number of transfers that this call went through after the agent had the call. In this case, this call was transferred 4 more times after the agent took it. Clicking on any field for this call will bring up a complete graphical cradle-to-grave report on everything that happened during the life of this call. There's a lot of detail here, and clicking on any leg will give the detail of what happened. For example, selecting this leg tells us that the inbound call came to this user directly and then went to their voicemail box. However, if we look closer at the disconnect reason, we can see that the call not only went to their voicemail, but that they actually pushed the button on the phone to manually send the call to voicemail. If you need this kind of report on a call without Brightmetrics, you'd likely spend somewhere between hours and never to get it. As you can see, the power of Brightmetrics lies in the ability to see information about your system at a very high level, looking for trends, patterns, and anomalies. From there, you can see the information that makes up that level and slice and dice it as needed to gain the insights to make crucial business decisions. When you need to see it, the detail behind all that information is ready and waiting for you, all the way down to an incredibly detailed cradle-to-grave report on any individual call in your system. In addition to our powerful dashboarding functionality, we offer a similar feature set around text-based reports like you might be used to seeing from the ShoreTel system. In fact, we have templates for all of the canned ShoreTel reports, as well as many others. But with Brightmetrics, these are just the starting point. We can customize any of these reports with a powerful drag-and-drop report building engine. We can still drill down into any data point to get the detail behind it, all the way down to a cradle-to-grave report. Not only that, but from here we can share these reports with anyone in the company, with whatever permission levels we'd like to give them, or we can set reports to be scheduled automatically in our best-in-class report scheduler. Whatever your needs, Brightmetrics ShoreTel reporting and data analytics service makes the difference between your ShoreTel system being a great phone system or a truly strategic asset for your company.